Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okey dokey. Do we have any conflicts of interest, or any,
Thank you.
any problems with the agenda? Otherwise, we will, call the agenda as approved.
Okay.
So it's 9 o'clock. We do have on here to discuss. Now, Tim was gonna be here and Doug is on the, phone. So I guess we can start the discussion on that. We are making progress over at the building. The bids for, the downstairs,
Well,
should, what now? Okay.
Nothing. Go ahead.
All right.
that's cool.
The painting, project will be done upstairs, the painting, cleaning, the doors that need to be put back on and the things that we have identified that need to be done upstairs. We have a pretty good guarantee that they'll be done June 1st. So the way that real estate works in, Crawford County is you kind of need to get it on the market, so that it doesn't, I don't want to actually put it on the market after it's all done. I'd like to kind of get to see what kind of interest we have in it. My suggestion would be that we, list it with all of the, real estate agents in Crawford County. I think there's 3 in Denison. I don't believe there's any out in the other communities at this time. Get a market analysis on the building that they're currently in, see what we feel it's gonna be, for the price, and start kind of getting some interest in that building so that when we are ready to move over, we're not starting day one and they'll be 2 months
Did
behind.
they charge for that market now?
Nope,
This is
nope,
not part of
nope, that
it.
is absolutely part of the service to, go in.
You were
do
tracking
this
my
quarterly.
thoughts.
Yep. Nope, there is not a charge for that. That is to let them and us know what they, as experts, look at, other buildings similar to size and location, what they've been bringing, the condition of the building. They'll come in and say, this is what we reasonably believe we could get for it. I just think it's time to do that. It's been sitting out there. I also would like to see, some of the things that are, in the storage units and things like that, start getting those things moved over. Find out the logistics of how we're gonna do it, who we're gonna pay to do it. It's just time we really take hold of this and, start that move over, because the upstairs will be ready.
The public health board is ready to.
We
make
got
that
Doug
move.
on the phone, and Tim was gonna be here. I had a text from him, he was gonna be here at 9. He wanted to do it early because he has to be at the nursing home at 10, and just wanted to make sure we could get this discussion done. Yeah, Tim Weber, Marcy had a funeral, but she is in full support of getting it, and Libby also has, she's out there at the hospital, it's hard for her to get away. So let's get it on the market and see what the market's gonna be and how much interest there is, and, yeah, we've got till June before it'll be ready, so, I think that if there's somebody that wants to come in and pay cash for it tomorrow, work around what the closing date, what the possession date would be. 'Cause
Right, we can leave them without a home.
we would never do that.
So-
Never do that. And if the potential, buyer wants it sooner, then that would be a good fit for us. But we just have to make sure that we have plenty of time to get moved, done. So that would be the discussion. I know, Doug, it's gonna be hard for you to communicate, through the phone. I think I understand you're driving. But it is, correct that the Board of, Public Health is in agreement that we need to get it marketed. Is that correct? You feel thumbs up
if you want.
He's on mute.
Yep, he's on mute. It takes a while. Well,
It does.
we could
Messaging.
possibly,
Yeah.
since there's no time on here, we could start with some supervisors' reports. We could read the
I could read
minutes.
the minutes.
Let's read the minutes and see if Tim will come, and then,
Yeah,
let's read the minutes.
text for him.
Yeah, I didn't bring my phone in here today because I left it in my car.
It's fine, we can do,
Yeah.
give them no time.
Yeah.
But you talked to them all.
I have invited them to all come.
Well, I think that's a good idea to at least be gauging the market,
Yep,
Yeah.
so we don't miss any opportunities.
right. There had been some interest, throughout this last
Got
year.
his cell number, you want me to text him?
Yeah, why don't you text him? Yeah, I left my.
Well, it's not like we're selling it and then they don't have a home, we're
No.
not ready, it's just we're starting the process of marketing it, and
Absolutely.
we still have the ability to work those dates to make sure that it's a smooth transition.
Yep, I just think the way things go in real estate, things don't sell as fast as, we could only be so lucky that somebody would come in.
It might be.
And it would really just keep things moving
I already
along.
long enough to see it.
Over the years, I've had several, people that showed interest in the building, but we just weren't even close to
Right.
being able to do anything. I did call one of the parties that had showed an interest in it, just to let them know that we're getting closer to see, and they've already found another building, and so,
Yeah.
we have to start over again.
When's your next public health meeting?
I think it's the 13th of May.
Of May, okay.
Yeah, it'll be May, so, but with having Doug on the phone and, Tim coming, that'll help a little bit. So let's read the minutes, and see what goes on.
You bet. April 16th, 2024, the Board of Supervisors met at 9 AM with Jean Hayden, Chair, presiding. Members present were Schultz, Dozark, Hayden, Mulbauer, and Rosberg. Minutes of the previous meeting were read and approved. Motion was made by Schultz, seconded by Mulbauer, to approve the Iowa DOT Crawford County Secondary Road Budget Amendment number 1 for budget year ending June 30th, 2024. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Mulbauer, seconded by Rosberg, to approve the following resolution, 2024-12. Classification in the process in which streets and highways are grouped into classes according to character of service. Crawford County periodically reviews the system of streets and highways for appropriate changes to classification of various segments of the system. A recent review of the system has revealed the need for a change to federal function classification of a road segment due to the lack of classification continuity. Be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Crawford County hereby requests the Iowa Department of Transportation to request the Federal Highway Administration to make the following changes in federal classification. Revise the federal function classification from local to minor collector for the portion of Ridge Road commencing at Denison city limits, then extending north and east a distance of 105 feet or 0.02 miles to the intersection with M Avenue. Voting aye, Schultz, Dozark, Hayden, Mulbauer, and Rosberg. Motion passed unanimously. At 10:04, as advertised, a motion was made by Schultz, seconded by Rosberg, to open the public hearing regarding the budget amendment fiscal year 23-24. Motion passed unanimously. There were no written or oral objections. A motion was made by Rosberg, seconded by Dozark, to close the public hearing at 10:15. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Schultz, seconded by Dozark, to approve the following resolution 24-10, appropriating to the following departments, increases to be funded by service area amendment hearing. Voting aye, Schultz, Dozark, Hayden, Mulbauer, and Rosberg. Minutes, our motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Mulbauer, seconded by Rosberg, to approve the following resolution, 2024-11, resolution transferring funds in the amount of $100,000 from general basic into the capital project fund 1524. Voting aye, Schultz, Dozark, Hayden, Mulbauer, and Rosberg. Motion passed unanimously. Motion was made by Dozark, seconded by Rosberg, to approve the environmental health 2080 with Carroll County. Motion passed unanimously. Discussion was made by the board about employee health insurance plan design and HSA contribution rates. No action was taken at this time. On motion duly seconded, the board adjourned at 11:31 a.m. Agendas for the next meeting are posted and available at the courthouse on Friday, 4:30 p.m. preceding the next meeting.
Corrections or modifications to the minutes? All right. All right, I just sent a text to Doug and I sent it to Pam because I think she was driving. See if we can Okay, in a minute. Alrighty, we'll go down here. Who has the packet?
Right there.
We have a, right,
Terry's.
okay. I haven't seen a change of wage
I'll get
and
those.
then, it's resignation. Anybody know what's going on there or? Wasn't she over at Carroll? Remember? I changed the wage and resignations. We have to sign both of those.
Yeah, Sam.
I mean, according to, I guess, what was in the packet, it looked like she had got some certification or some,
Okay, I haven't seen it, that's
Has
why.
taken a full-time position elsewhere.
Okay,
right, one left and the other one that they're raising the pay, is that due to certification or what is it?
Has completed the 40-hour jail school certification.
cool, all right, yeah, just a little question there, so I haven't seen it yet.
It's right here whenever you're
Skip
ready.
you.
You skipped me?
Yeah.
That's
You were busy.
okay. That's all right. Claims are in here and everybody had a chance to look at that.
I got my
Nobody
questions
signed it
answered.
yet.
I got my
And it's
questions
fine.
answered yesterday. I didn't sign it here.
So we sending this around again for, signatures. Is that what we want to do?
Yep, now I'll grab the rest of that out of there whenever you all are
We'll
done.
start, we'll let you get your stuff signed and then, we'll go on. Alrighty, so that's all taken care of. Do we want to do a quick, supervisor, update while we're waiting for Tim? He said he'll be here in a minute.
I just have a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Keeping it moving.
Yeah,
Kyle's not here, but we're still gonna keep it moving.
last week, and I know this is a little bit later on the agenda to discuss and approve through Paul's, but last week after our meeting, well, here's Tim right now.
Hey, Tim,
Oh,
How you doing?
come on up here. That way, yep.
Oh, gosh, I don't know if I,
It's
Hot
all
seat.
right. We just-
ooh, I don't know about.
You're within
Hot
arm's reach of me.
Uh-oh, Ty, don't backhand me.
Well, we got Doug on.
That's why I said over
he's-
here.
He's on his way to Omaha and he sent me a text. It's gonna be, hard for him to talk.
Okay,
And so he's there, in support. And I just texted him and wondered if he could just give a thumbs up. What our discussion has been is, the building that the, public health is currently in, they've outgrown that, so we get the other facility ready for them. And we want to get that marketed. We want to just get the local real estate agents to give us a market analysis on how much we feel we can sell that for. And want to, kind of get it on the market, see if there's any interest, because it's my understanding, that, the painter and all of the needed repairs for upstairs will be done the 1st of June. They're really working hard to get that done. So we have to have a kind of an end to when we're gonna start making that transition over. We've got the RFP for the basement, they'll be working down there. And we wanted to make sure that the public health board was, aware of what we're doing and in agreement with that, because we are a partner with that. Ty, you had a question?
Yeah, will that have all the sink extractions and
Yes.
stuff that we've talked
Yes.
about done by 1 June?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we're in pretty good
talked,
shape for everything that the
so,
board
We gotta get
or
the
that
plumber in there.
Public health wanted.
we've
Getting
been
the plumber is
Talking-
been challenging.
Totten, regularly. He actually at one point in time thought he could possibly go in there like on Sunday afternoons and get that done, because he's just really, really busy. So we've kind of given him a call to see if he has an estimated time that he's gonna get it done. And then there is another plumber that could possibly, if he is gonna be, too busy to get it done in a timely fashion, that they possibly would agree to come in and get it done. Really not a lot of, Todd said it's not difficult, it's just gonna take time to
Take
come
some
in there and move that one pipe and,
The one for the,
IT room.
IT area.
Yeah,
so
and
those
help
things
with
all
those sink
kind of-
extractions and
Yes.
stuff, I believe,
So,
so.
Terry's been working, behind the scenes a lot, trying to get
Thank you.
people, keeping them focused, keeping the painter with the questions that she has. She has a contractor that thinks that she's supposed to do, and then sometimes when she goes over there, there's things that say she's supposed to change that wasn't in the original contract, and so she's got concerns about that. But Terry's keeping everybody focused on stay with the contract and do what you have to do, and she's seems pretty sure she can have all that done by June 1st.
June 1st. So
Yep.
you're saying that probably not long after that should be able to
move
You know,
move over?
we would hope so, like
His
I
IT's in there.
Yeah, if we have to IT it, so really, the concerns that we've had have just been, a continuing constant, what happens first is a chicken and the egg story. IT really needs to get that room done, and we've been over there numerous times to say what needs to happen in this IT room. We actually all went over there not that long ago and just really said, let's get it done. I've got Corey, he's on Corey Gasville with his equipment has been purchased for so long that our warranties, the warranties have kicked in and they're still on his shelf waiting to do his part of it. We just need to kind of just get a timeline here.
Yeah.
And get it done.
And that's part of that plumber
And
issue, I
the
think,
conversation that we've had also, let's say we get it on the market, somebody comes in and says, this is perfect for me, I wanna buy it, I have cash, can we close it in 30 days? That might not be the buyer for us because we might not be ready, but we won't know the market till we get it out there. I would hate to wait till we're completely done and then still have to wait for 6 months and have that building that's empty for 6 months.
I'd hate to have you sell a building, not have you have a place to go yet.
We would not do that.
Yeah.
And so that's why we wanted you involved in this conversation, so that everybody knows the plan and we're all on the same page, and we're working together to get this move to finally happen.
But Tim, you think the board's fine with starting to list it?
I guess I don't know. Did we talk about
Well,
that?
that's why we're talking about it now. We didn't
Yeah.
have it, we hadn't really heard that the painter she's saying she's gonna be done. We've got the RFP for the basement. We're really moving along. I feel we're gonna kind of all come in about the same time, that we'll have those things done and there'll be an interest in the building. Maybe just get the temperature for what kind of interest we have in the building.
So I guess I'm a little confused. I guess that the first time I've heard about it. I know you probably discussed it, but so some private entity that's the plan, is to sell the building and then lease it out?
I never heard that.
No, or what?
You're talking an annex building. Where you.
Oh, they,
Where you're at.
Where you're currently at.
oh.
The building next to City
I was-
Hall.
Oh, you're
I was
city
thinking
center.
the
No,
city
oh,
center. I thought,
no.
what are we listing it for? I thought,
No,
that's
sorry.
where I was confused.
Sorry,
currently
sorry.
Okay,
That's why
yeah.
we called you this whole.
Well, I think so. I mean, the only kicker is, like I said, we kind of need to know for sure is it gonna be around June 1st or is it gonna be a year from June 1st?
No,
right?
it will not be a year from,
I think
no.
you want it I think you want to get it listed, right?
yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
The one on Main Street.
But
yeah.
I just, I think we just we could list it, but just, if we have interest parties, we'd have to be contingent on
Well, that's
getting moved
that's
over.
exactly right. I mean, that's it. I think you can list it, but there'd definitely be a contingency on it, right? So,
Absolutely. That's why.
yeah, no, I think you want to get the word out and get going right on it.
Yeah.
Just hate to not do anything, like you said, and then you get moved over and then it takes us a year to sell.
Well,
the
no, I
annex.
think I'd get the ball rolling
There
because
you
it's
go.
like, and
getting close.
the contingency, and I guess they need to know, anybody that's really interested needs to know that.
Tim, what do you think is the biggest hindrance from moving currently to the new building? I mean, what's the whole of it? Is it just the painting? Once the painting's done?
Yeah, I think just everything over there in place. I mean, obviously IT is a huge thing because
They did
all
that.
the billing and all the communicating anywhere, any business, right? So
Right?
I don't think there's any hindrance once all that's in place. I don't think it's a big issue, is it? I mean, it's gonna be a lot more space for them and, I think they kind of have an idea of, I think, where things are gonna go and who's where, I get the impression
We've
for the
been
most
through
part, so.
numerous times with Kim, Marcy and I have gone, and Terry's gone with us, just so that we're all kind of on the same page. Identifying which offices is gonna be which department. There's so many different departments with public health. You got your Hickams and your hospice and home health care, that everybody needs to kind of be logistically together as units, you're billing people. There's names in each one of the rooms and they've got it down to what color they're going to paint each room, written on the
Yeah,
walls.
I don't
We
think it's a big issue.
Yeah.
So the only other option, so where are we at is like the Veterans Affairs and all that?
Yep.
Figured out they're gonna be in there, and
Yep.
how about,
What,
who is gonna rent some space?
DHS
Yeah,
and mental health.
And that's all done, that's all
That'll happen.
a done thing?
We're
Okay,
working
very
on
good.
getting
So
that.
go back Craig's question, I don't see any issue as long as they get the green light to go ahead and move in.
Yeah. And what will be down there, after many conversations with Kim, is, you know, movable walls in that big area that used to be Walter's Pharmacy,
Mhm.
that you can config that to whatever the need might be, and, or it can be a big open open room for, meetings.
Meetings.
You guys got a grant for some nice big, televisions that are gonna go up there for Zoom meetings that we might need to have. And then the veterans will be on that other side.
I'd be,
That's been
Soundproof
mapped
wall.
out. Uh,
try to be anyway.
Mhm. Very
The
good.
biggest holdup is IT and getting, there's a water, pipe that goes, up in that, IT room. And it just doesn't make any sense to have a water source above an IT room when they're so,
So Totten hasn't moved that yet?
he hasn't, but it's been talked about. Actually, the last time we got together,
Sounds to me like that's what needs to be.
yeah, it was a suggestion that we just move IT to a different room where there isn't any water and keep this thing moving, you know, that actually was brought up. That was a lead balloon situation, didn't go very far. But we're working, I think just about every day we make a phone call to somebody, how's it going? Let's keep
I'll
this
call
thing
him again
moving.
today, cause he didn't respond to me last week.
We have to give a,
Totten didn't,
yeah, so that's just
Yeah.
kind of
I'm
the,
sure he's busy.
it's in the scheme of things for contractors,
They're all
it's not a big drop what you're doing to go do, but it's yet so many different moving parts. So we put RFPs out for each thing individually, and everybody's ready to go when this one gets done. And so I think it's just the normal progression of things to kind of start talking about that building's not gonna sit empty for a year once they're in this one. We want to get that moved as soon as we can. That's the
Right,
conversation.
I think we need to act as soon as we can. I mean, we don't know what the commercial market
Right.
is in Denison. I don't think there's a lot of commercial buildings that have been for sale or rent, so
Yeah.
it'd be nice to know.
Just a few.
We all know what interest rates have done and what it's kind of done, you know, to the real estate market from a personal standpoint, private. Not sure if it's the same thing for commercial, so
We don't know.
we should get it out there.
Let's do it. I think if, we had, if we're looking backwards, what should have actually happened is the building that the CDC is now in, they bought that for $1. Think how easy it would have been to just expand over to that right next door, but,
To sell ours for $1?
no, we could have just bought that. for
I was
$1.
wondering what you were thinking.
Yeah, no.
Oh, we could have bought it.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Expanded our public health over
Yeah,
there.
had some room for immunization.
Probably
That's
wouldn't hold
one of
over,
the drawbacks of the
wouldn't help
building we have
CDC
now.
any, but.
There is no place for immunizations in the building they have now, and there's no confidentiality. If you want to talk about a very private issue, you have to go out in the lobby, and it's just time that our public health clients have a nice place to go have their services, and just a complex that's public health, veterans, and a very nice place to do business. So want to keep the ball rolling, but we also wanted you to be involved in it so that if there were any questions or any objections, we're all moving forward on the same page.
Pretty good. No,
Good.
I
that's,
didn't want you guys to feel like you're getting kicked out of your building before the other one's ready.
No.
It's just that we're gonna start listing it.
yeah. And I think, like I said, as long as it's listed with kind of a contingency on, you know, and I have a hard time, I mean, if our plan is kind of, let's just say July 1st, right?
Yeah, could be.
I mean, I really have a hard time thinking anybody is gonna wanna move in, buy it and move it in sooner than that
Correct.
anyway, right? So, kind of close and everything.
It'll
so.
take time to contact the real estate agents, get that joint, what do they call that when there's more than one agent on you guys,
Joint listing or?
joint listing seems about right, doesn't it? And then get the market analysis, get the paperwork done, you know, that's probably gonna be another 2-3 weeks before we even get that part of the paperwork done, so.
Have you guys talked, Tim, much about the move? I mean, do you envision the move just taking place on a day or over time?
I
Is
haven't
that
heard
been a
anything,
topic of
that
discussion,
would be a
or-
good, more of a discussion with probably Kim Finneran and to see how long it's gonna take. I don't know, and I guess, you know, I don't know what the plan is,
Let's
whose
get that
plan
on
it
the
is.
agenda.
As
so
far as who's moving, you know, who's moving and what kind of help. is
we hiring
needed,
a
right?
company, or are we gonna just have a Blue Jean day where everybody takes their files and gets their office, or,
Don't they have new desks coming? Do you know when them are coming?
I'm not sure about that. Do you know we're getting new desks?
I do not know.
So like the old stuff, are they selling that?
These are all
And
discussions
stuff like
that,
that.
so kind of the reason
They
for,
can take it out of there? I mean, right at that. If you leave the old desk, then we have to
Right,
move them out.
Yeah.
So I guess we need to talk
Right,
about
we
that.
need to know that,
What's gonna
'cause
be
we
left
need to
there.
organize for that.
We do, and so I think that's why we wanted to involve the public health board so that we're all working together with a plan of, things that we may not have thought about before with this move.
Good job.
Companies move all the time and they get it done and they're up for business the next Monday, you know, it's just a matter of, 2 men in a truck kind of a deal, get some people lined
Yeah,
up.
cause
and-
that, whatever they have in the basement of, the current Nepal building,
Are gonna be.
I mean, that all needs moved because we plan on ending that contract. Cause that's where we house DHS currently,
Correct. So,
once that new building available, I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
and DHS has looked at the, we like to call it city center, but we're gonna have to stop calling it that. They've looked at that and it's gonna work for their needs, and so that's where they will work. So, we'll get those things on the agenda. Do you know what's in the Warren building in the basement? What kind of things are down there?
Never been in there.
Okay, I have not either, and so these are the conversations we need to have, because, we're
Maybe
gonna,
we call it the Public Services Building, how's that, since there's a little more than public health all
Right.
in there.
try to remember that, so. Doug's been listening, he sent me a text that it's hard for him to talk, he's driving, and it's, hard to talk. And sometimes even getting a thumbs up, that's a hard, so, but he's.
Don't text
been
and
hearing this
drive.
stuff, Yeah,
I think that should do her. All
all
right.
right, so.
Well, we'll get it listed and we'll just kind of keep moving forward. And I mean, those are all good things to have public health discussion on.
Yeah, very good. I appreciate, yeah, it sounds like you guys have the ball rolling, so I appreciate
Try to
that.
keep
So I'll
it.
bring this back and,
And Marcy's aware and Libby's aware, they just had, Marcy had to go to a funeral and Libby has, issues and all that good stuff.
and yeah, as soon as, I guess, anybody knows, like, the plumbing's done, the IT will be done on this date, I suppose that's,
Those are huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the, there's your chicken and the egg answer. Plumbing.
yeah, exactly. So-
That is, because, Jake's got his stuff, he knows what he needs, and, a lot of, like I said, a lot of that equipment he's had for a long time. And so, and Corey Gaskell's ready to finish up, he's got the equipment.
I doubt it'd take him long.
I was gonna say, I don't think it'll probably take those guys very long.
No,
Yeah.
no, there's a little bit of wiring, but, they've got their guys lined up to do that once they get the go ahead. So there doesn't need to be a floor in that room of IT room, I've been told the concrete floor is just fine, and,
All
So-
right,
Okay.
very good.
all right, just
All right,
wanted
done with you
to.
guys?
Yep. Thanks for coming up, Tim.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
Tim.
much, I appreciate it, Tim.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're
Have a good
welcome.
day.
You
Didn't
too.
need
If
to
you ever
reach
have any
out.
questions,
Very good.
call.
What's that?
I didn't need to reach out, but very good.
Guys, take care now, okay?
All right, bye, Tim.
So it is an action item.
It is. So I think that what you need to do is make a motion that someone contact the local real estate agents and, Doug just said, thanks, Tim. So Doug just, so he heard all of that, so, alrighty.
Thanks,
Okay.
Doug. for
Thanks, Doug,
calling
for joining in. Alrighty, so we need a motion to, get the building, listed in joint
Health.
listing.
Do you wanna do that, Gene?
I know all of the real estate agents very well, and I would, after I leave here, I'll go visit each one of them and tell them what we're up to. Is that what you wanna
I
do?
will move that we appoint Gene Hayden to contact the real estate agents
And
in
that network
concerning
already.
our
Good boy.
annex building in Dennison.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, if not, I'll call the motion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Chair votes aye. I will, contact our local real estate agents and I'll bring back a, agreement, probably a couple of weeks. I'll get one a couple of weeks.
Thanks for getting that going.
All righty.
Feels like we're moving.
It's time. All righty, we will continue then with our supervisors meetings. Would you-
Yeah, I'll go back to what you and I had done in Vale, where we had met with the city council and mayor there to talk about our property and then also Farm to Market Road in Vale. I'll start with Farm to Market Road. We talked about seal coat versus an overlay. The city council and the mayor would prefer an overlay, which I don't blame them. I mean, even myself with farming, you're on those roads with trucks and last longer. Kind of came to an agreement, what we give back to them each year, farm to market money is around $5,000, so that they have some skin in the game. They were gonna have us keep that money for 3 years. for the project, and then we would do the overlay. And kind of came to agreement on that would, they put a little,
What's the additional cost of the overlay, do you know, versus the,
41 versus 61,000.
yeah,
so about 20 grand, so they're putting in 15 of that.
right. So we have that, you know, they putting a little skin in the game, we get the farm to market money, and, they'll have a nice farm to market street within Vale. Then the other thing we looked at, we drove out by the Catholic Church and the property that we own in Crawford County with the creek through there.
Remember those?
We, looked at that and need some cleanup. There's some big chunks of concrete in there. We talked about moving them down
Where's the church in the?
Up here.
picture? That's up there?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
south of the church, a little bridge right here. We talked about getting a long stick backhoe or excavator in there, but then Paul got looking at it, he goes, he really thought they could get ours down in there and do the work we need without having to hire outside excavator.
There's a hunk of concrete in there though,
Huge.
huge. Who's been throwing stuff in there all these years? It's
Those
just
had to be
beyond our
years
knowledge.
ago.
It's,
But trying to hold that bank in place. But he thought it looked firm enough to get our own excavator down in there. He thought we could straighten it a little bit and then clean some of the trees out, and it wouldn't be too difficult of a project to clean up.
our side and their side are day and night at this point in time. It's so nice and clean on the side by the church.
You say our side and their side, because when you look at the picture, I guess it looks like our lots are on both sides.
So,
The bridge, so where the bridge is, if you look over towards the church, there, that's all nice and cleaned out, and then you look at, over the bridge, look at into
Up
the
here,
water.
right?
Yeah.
so the church is here, up here,
What
they
about-
cleaned all that up.
Gotcha.
It really looks good. We'd also potentially, and Paul won't be here, so he's in court, but, had talked about possibly it would, qualify for some Hunger Canyons money with some weir projects or bank erosion and things like that. So that's a potential that it could, you know, cover some of that cost. Cool. So moving forward, yeah, those are kind of what we discussed and decided, and I think the city council and mayor there, Monty, was,
Is it-
pleased with our conversation and where we could.
So any discussion about those lots specifically, as far as getting them back to the city of Vale, or?
A little, just a little, I think that'll be what will happen.
Do they have much value? I mean, if they're cleaned out, is there anything that could ever be there or be built there, or?
I asked them that and they didn't know. They just said they've been mowing it for years
Yeah,
and.
they wanted to give us a bill for mowing. So we went from there.
We said, well, let's get it cleaned up and make sure that we stabilize the banks for erosion
Because
and,
it is within the city limits of Vale, isn't it? Okay,
and nobody knew
exactly how we.
acquired it.
You know, it'd be interesting to kind of
So as we
know.
look back.
Probably taxes, I'm assuming, wasn't paid many, many years ago, and the county took ownership of it and maybe tried to sell it and then never sold.
I
or
bet we never tried to sell it.
Maybe we.
Right.
How do you sell that?
Yeah, it's,
Somebody needs a fishing hole.
But ideally, you know, if we could use some Hunger Canyons money, get it cleaned up, stabilize the banks,
Good point.
it's a mess.
and then get it.
Do you know, I mean, I'm actually on the Hungry Canyons board, and I don't know the answer to this, but do they provide funds for projects that aren't bid? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do, because we've had county projects within the county for, stabilization.
Like when we're doing the gravel level Bs, they
Right.
put some of the tubing in and stuff like that.
Or like weir projects,
Yep.
Okay.
Well, that answer is yes then. All right.
I think that one road that where they had some goofy piping, they actually did that. I mean, it looked odd, but it actually did the drainage a lot better.
yeah,
So it just seemed like the right thing to do, so. Hold on.
yeah,
That was something Dennis.
yeah.
Southeast or west there.
And that's all I already got for you.
There we go. All righty. We're gonna go over to Craig because he's been last for so many weeks.
I don't really have anything, just that, I did talk to, Fox Fundraising.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Lisa Fox, the owner, is going to zoom in next week at our meeting.
Do they sound interested?
Yes, certainly they're interested. There's just, when my discussions with her and then she was giving me some information, I was just like, you know what? You're gonna give me this information and I'm gonna go back into my board and my board's gonna ask questions that I forgot to ask you. So it would be really good if you could zoom into a meeting and we could all ask questions.
there we go.
And so she's already on the agenda, but next week about 10 o'clock, we're gonna hopefully get her in. But she said it's more specific than it is general, meaning that she works a lot with, Pot County and Pot County specifically, the, public health, conservation are the two main ones that she works with in Pot County, because she said they usually need to be, project specific, meaning that, public health is having a immunization drive and we need to have this money raised to get people to all come in. And so there's things specifically for that, or conservation where, building a dam, or maybe the water issue down at Nelson's Park, is more specific. And she said that's where things are usually generated, is towards specific things, not a general, hey, the county of Crawford is short on money and we could sure use a grant to help with this, help us out. But there is someone in their office that works specifically with government entities. And so, I think it's worth a discussion, just so we all are on board as to how exactly they work. That's my only goal, is to find out how they work.
I don't know why I get them, but I've answered so many different emails about different things over the years. I suspect that might be part of it, but I have been getting Grant Writing USA. Have you ever heard of that? Do you ever get emails for that?
I think I have.
I mean, there's not free training, there's training. $50 discount. I think it's like $450 or something. $495 tuition. Grant writing training in Des Moines, and that's coming up. I don't know if there's anybody that we want to send to that, but we talked in the past about maybe having maybe the thought, and it's just something that was bouncing around the table, of having a county grant writer. That could not only do grant writing for this building and this board, but also help our cities through grant writing issues and all that, and then pay them what would be equivalent to a part-time salary, but then also talked about maybe if we did something where they got a percentage, of a grant or something like that for helping. In particular, those outside of here, we just kind of blew that around, but maybe something like what you're talking about is, I don't know, it just seems to me that when we're looking for outside dollars so we can decrease the property tax asking, grant writing is obviously, it's still tax dollars out there from the federal government. Well, in theory it is. It's just printed money from the federal government. But I think that might not be the worst idea, to help bring in additional incomes, because as nice as Sherry's CDs have been lately, and we can't assume that we'll have 4.5% interest rates on that stuff forever, I don't know, just a thought when you were bringing that up. I didn't know if you ever got them.
I have.
It just seemed like something to think about anyway.
I think that's a discussion to have.
Yeah.
To have either an outside firm or do it internally.
Yeah.
Internally, you always have the ongoing costs of that individual. Where when you do it externally, and I think they have a approval rate, if you wanna call it that, of about 73%.
Well, that's what.
So, then it's like, well, geez, we only pay them if they are that successful and they can bring us that money. It's worth maybe paying them just on specific instances versus having someone, full-time on staff and you get the response, well, there's really nothing going on right now to apply for grants.
Yeah,
Okay, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
Good point.
Good point.
excellent point.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
Well,
I think it's a discussion we can have with her. She seemed, her name's Lisa Fox. She started it herself.
I'll be there.
So, and I'm
Is
just
she
like looking, she's got
in
about,
Omaha?
12, 13 employees, I
Carson, I
think.
thought they were.
Carson, Iowa.
Carson.
But I think that's part of it, you know, an expert knows what's out there. You know, they're looking under every rock and trying to, that's how they get
And
paid.
she has some questions for us.
Okay.
I mean, that, I don't know what those questions are. She just said that I need to know your guys' circumstances and situation also. So I know where you're looking, so I can tell you, I think given their history, they know what you're gonna qualify for and what project is not gonna qualify
Right,
for.
right.
Well, what I really like about it too is you have that go-to place for, there's a cabin at Washington Park that needs to be moved to conservation. Is there a grant for it? You can call Lisa.
Right.
We wanna pave S Avenue. Is there any grant funds specifically for a new stretch of pavement? I mean, just like you said, they have the know of
Exactly.
Yeah,
what
and
they
they know
can
where
or
to
can't
look.
do.
Yeah.
And that would be, I guess, you just popped the question into my head, would be to ask them, is there a fee for us to ask that, or do we only get charged if we have you apply for a grant?
Right.
You know, can you pick up the phone and call her and say, hey, we have this, old home, you know, that we're moving from Washington Park to the, conservation, is there anything out there that would be available to restore?
Historical preservation type grant.
Right, preservation, and if she says no, does she still send us a bill?
Right.
You know?
But it'd be nice, I mean, if
If she looked it up, she probably.
if she doesn't, if it have that fee every time you ask, but it's based on the grant, then, you know, I feel like we call quite often and say, we're moving public health to a new building. Is there IT grants for
Exactly,
public
good
health?
point, yep.
And I just
Do you
heard
have them on
before that,
retainer maybe, just so that?
Right, I think those are questions, see, that I'm glad that we're all
Yeah,
asking, and
that's
talking
kind
about
of,
now, so
you know,
next
that's
week,
what that
we
usually
can
is.
ask all those instead of me coming back and
We're
going,
one
well,
of
can
their
you be on
clients.
retainer? Well, hell, I like it.
Kind of,
Have to call her back and get back to you.
kind of like we do with Jack though, you know, where, kind of have them on that retainer, but when you have those little questions and the time clock's not going when you're talking, you know, so, you know, they just kind of, you're one of their customers.
Well, I appreciate you reaching out to her. I think
The
that
other
could
part
be-
about grants though, is they'll pay for a person, one good grant, it'll pay for everything that we had to pay to get it. They are.
Right. You get one grant a year over 100,000, you pay
Right.
for.
Right.
Person.
So, keep
It'll be
looking down
interesting to
that.
talk to her
Yeah.
Tuesday. I'm glad you set that up.
Yep,
So thank
excellent.
you.
Thank you,
it's a good
yes.
thing, yeah.
So we have her on the agenda for next week then?
I mean, we've been told right
Yes.
by ISAC to look at,
Well, I was at
Other
a
income
NACO,
sources.
You're
that one
exactly
NACO
right.
meeting that I was at, they actually said there's tens of millions, hundreds of millions to billions of dollars in grant money that never even gets applied for
That's-
every year.
Right. And she's got 13
So,
employees.
I mean, we need to get off our laurels and start checking. I mean, none of that may apply, that's why it doesn't get asked for. Nobody has a project for that, you don't know.
right,
Yeah,
But that's it, we don't know.
you don't know what question to ask.
You don't know what you don't know.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's my understanding that you're, Paul today.
I'm Paul today.
Yeah, Paul's not gonna come
Oh,
and give
well,
you his
yeah, I'll just try
information.
to help here.
There we go.
You guys have gotta help do it, cause you went to one of the meetings with him. The first stuff was, wanna do the Vail stuff first?
Sure.
Probably can,
Yeah,
we
let's
were
do
already
that.
talking about that. Why don't you guys kinda explain what the project over there is? If you need any of the pictures and stuff, here's all that stuff. I just was I'm actually just kinda like the,
All
Hurry.
right,
Are you
so,
doing the farm to market one first?
all
Is
right,
that
we
what
have
you're
a
doing?
letter to the mayor, for the overlay on Fourth Avenue, King Creek Channel cleanup, land transfer, Vail, Iowa.
they went with him over there.
It's a summary of the items discussed. Fourth Avenue project extending from Main Street west to city limits. Two options were considered, a seal coat option estimated at $20,023.28, or a first half-inch asphalt overlay option estimated at $61,110. Asphalt overlay was adjusted as preferred option, county fronting the cost of the city or going the next 3 years of the FM options, of reimbursement from the county as their match, not estimated to equal approximately $15,000. It results in approximately 25% match from the city of Vail. So I hope we have I think this
Is HMA is the name of the company that's gonna do the resurfacing? Is that?
Correct, that's the way I would, all right,
I mean, I will make a motion, to approve HMA resurfacing farm to market extension in Vale on Fourth Avenue, extending from Main Street west to the city limits for the quote of $61,110 from Inroads Paving, with the city of Vale providing an approximate 25% match.
okay,
Second,
any further discussion?
Craig, it's actually Inroads Paving we'll be doing it. HMA is,
Hot mix asphalt.
there you go. Thank you, Paul.
What?
Hot mix asphalt.
Okay.
Yeah, Inroads, they're the ones that are doing 39 right now, so that's why it works in coordination.
You know, save a little money to just have them move
So when
over.
they get done, they're just gonna move.
Probably do it while they're doing it. Move some machines around while they're working on different stuff. I don't know how much they're stacking on that center two, on the two lanes, but they had to rebuild that.
My
all
packet,
up.
this is the first time I've seen it, so.
Shoulders. They're getting close to doing the shoulder.
All right, so we have a motion, discussion,
Second.
all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, that has been approved, so we've got that there. So the next one, is the King Creek project. The city would like to clean up the, stream banks of the King, Creek line on Fifth Avenue. Recently determined that the county owns the lots in the area, most specifically lots 1, 2, and 3, block 15, City of Vale. It was agreed that the county would work to reshape the cleanup of the channel on said lots, then transfer the lots to the City of Vale. No specific time frame was given, and general consensus would be that it would be completed within the next 18 months. Approved by the Board of Supervisors, so that's the short description of that.
That's not what I discussed earlier about that.
So I think this map maybe is a little bit easier. So this would be the
Both of them
church.
are equipped.
So this is theirs here, so there's that bridge.
Where they'd have to
And
bring
this
a
would
bunch
be
of
what
equipment,
we
we
have.
just.
I think that explains it a little bit clearer. And then here's a visual of that road that we're gonna be looking at. If anybody is not gonna fail real well. But this map over here explains that.
Is there water running in that channel?
Yes, yes. On their side, it's got like a little bit of a little tiny waterfall, kind of a little babbling brook thing, very.
Nice place for a little bitty park someday.
It's very.
Possibly, and there's
yeah.
potential for different things.
Yeah, it's, just kind of one of those areas that, you know, you go over that bridge, you never think about it. And now we find out we
But
own
I
that.
want to get their
So-
water bill out.
Yeah,
Or up there.
well, the building the house might be,
Water underneath.
when I show that. So I think this shows it, I think this explains it a little bit better, is the church, if you look at it, is right here. And so this part is nice and cleaned out, and there's that bridge.
Yep.
So these would be the lots here, and it's day and night from that side of the bridge to what we now call our side of the
Just
bridge.
through there a while ago.
Yeah, so, we've got a motion there to approve the, cleanup of the channel.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Dave.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Now that we've seen the pictures and kind of understand what's going on? All right, any further discussion? We're good?
We just own those three though.
Yes.
It's, you'd have to be real creative to figure out a way to, unless you just wanted those 3 little lots to fish on exclusively or something, then I don't think that's an
Yeah.
option. All right, so I'll call the motion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Right?
Any opposed, same sign. Chair votes aye. That motion has been approved also. All right, so keep all this together. What else do you have?
We have a third motion.
We have information on that one?
This is for the public hearings to vacate the roadways.
Have
There's-
all the things.
There
Or
are,
you just approved.
I think.
I bet I need to stamp something, just say.
so these are in bold here, isn't it?
Yeah,
So this is vacating a
This is
road?
vacating some roadway. There's two. If you remember, he was talking about, this is up for Scott Clausen's, which is
Oh, yes.
just this side.
Right,
of
just past that
Deloitte.
gravel pit.
You bet. Yeah. Up here up by Deloitte. Anyway, this is to basically to go in and vacate that.
all right.
And,
We're not voting on vacating its day,
No,
we're
it's
just,
public hearing.
we're just simply
We're
voting
gonna
on.
set up a date
setting up
for
a
the,
public hearing.
so the
Public.
motion to approve notice of public hearing related to the vacation of
So we need to set a date.
following roadway, yep,
Yeah.
that's what we're doing.
Didn't Paul have a date he wanted it?
no,
All
he
part
said,
of
It's not in there?
70th Street, lying north of Deloitte Boulevard, in the west, half of the section.
No, I don't think so. Do all public, are all public hearings equal as far as notice that you give? the
well, that's what
public?
Terry and I were talking about this
Okay.
morning. I wasn't sure if this was one with or we had to have at least 3 days. No more than 20, or how the heck that works. I wasn't sure about
No, I
that.
don't know.
That's why I thought.
So can we have the public hearing next week?
I don't know if you can
I
have
don't
it that
think we can.
fast.
Okay,
We have to publish. that
Cause
we're
it
gonna
won't be
have
in
it.
a paper before
okay,
then.
Gotta do
so,
the paper.
It won't be in a paper this week.
all right,
It could be in next week's paper.
all right.
So then we could have it the week
Could you have
after.
it the next week after that?
As far as I'm
And
concerned,
there would be 2 listings,
I
cause
can't
I'll
see
go
that
over the other one
calendar.
with
That's the
you.
worst
That is
calendar
the worst
ever.
calendar.
I thought it was gonna be a great calendar, but it's,
Terry, I'd think in 2 weeks would cover our.
that would be better, cause then
Alright.
it's more than 10, less than 20. It falls in that range.
let's
'Cause
let's do 2 weeks just to make sure that we,
14 days.
14 days.
I don't,
And it'd
you
be,
tell me the date. I don't know. I don't have a thing to tell me a date.
That'd be
so
May 6th.
It would be May.
I mean, sorry, May 7th, I look at Monday, May 7th. Would be 2 weeks.
So the motion would be to set,
At what time?
10 AM. Typically what we do public hearings.
yeah,
And it would be during Paul's time, so,
Right.
exactly.
yeah.
And there's a
Which
second
is
one to
always
put
good.
on that same. Okay, the other one is,
We'll do a public hearing for both of them.
Yes.
well,
exactly.
that has.
Oh,
to be-
it's two different,
There's 2 different sites.
yeah, so it's. And that'll be in this motion.
Yes.
It'll be all in one motion.
Correct.
One public
Yeah.
hearing for 2
Yeah.
And this one here is
All that
just,
part of 273rd lying north of Deloitte Boulevard, blah, 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 and all that part of an unnamed roadway lying east of
Yes.
Deloitte Boulevard. Yeah,
see that?
so that, they'll both be included in
Does
this.
everybody understand where that one is?
No, I do not, because where that end
Okay.
is that a whole different? Or no?
This is a different than up there at Scott Clausen's, yes.
Oh my,
Okay, now this, do you remember the bridge we did probably 2 years ago? Maybe not. It's up there on, you go up the Deloitte to Boyer pavement,
yes,
okay? And just as you get to the end of the pavement area, we redid a bridge up there on a side road.
okay.
And we also did that access to the river. Remember that? Or was that before you guys got on the board? I'll show you. We did an access to the river. I can't remember that. No, I don't think that was a Hundred Canyon. There might have been some Hundred Canyon money in that. Okay,
I don't
it
know.
was, the bridge was like right here. I didn't show it right, but we redid the bridge. And then there was an access to the river right there.
I know where
There's
we're
a
at.
bridge right in there. We redid that bridge. Well, anyway, just down from that. Let's see. I think it's. It's on this curve. It's on this curve here. Anyway, what we got is we got a piece that's an unusual piece. And Paul says it serves no purpose at all for us. But it's actually county right away. And so to vacate that, that's what this is about.
Does that go straight then right here?
Yeah, well, look, well, that's, yeah,
Is that yellow part, the road?
yeah. That's Deloitte Boulevard.
Okay.
And I'm trying to figure out where that piece lies in coordination. There's a little
So what does he want to do with that little?
vacate.
So if we
We're
vacate.
gonna vacate that
Go back
because
to
it
the
serves no
landowner.
Go back
purpose
to
to
the
the county.
landowner?
And it goes back.
Just like the road,
The
you go
landowner.
center of the
Where's the
road,
landowner?
landowner each side gets
Does anybody, I'm just curious, just help me. Do you know who the landowner is?
Yeah, he didn't say. who it
No, okay.
was.
Must
I
be,
knew the other
must,
one was Scott.
must be
Crawford.
irrelevant. Must be, yeah, must.
It is, he vacated and it goes back to landowners.
He's probably been mowing it and taking care of it.
Well, and it ain't on the tax roll,
Yeah,
if it's under our easement.
All right,
Right,
So
right.
the motion needs to be
we'll
then
set the date for the public.
10
hearing.
AM, May seventh,
All right.
set the date for public hearing
Okay,
on vacating of both of those descriptions.
Was that one,
Second.
847 was the first one?
we have a motion and a second.
Number 8,
847.
and after
All
that,
right,
the
so
numbers.
for any further discussion, which it sounds like we're having, so.
You catch that, Terry?
Got it, I've got it all.
So what is the discussion, Ty, that we need to maybe possibly have to finish up this motion?
Well, I was just trying to go over, it. He's got these different numbers wrote down on here, and there's one, he had them wrote down over
And
there.
they're all on, I mean, they're on your
They are on
agenda.
there, they are.
And that's where I wrote it from,
See, and I don't have
from
his
his
agenda,
agenda.
so I don't, you have his.
No, I have your agenda and
It
it's
has
on
his
there.
stuff.
It's got all the descriptions.
It's on there.
right in here.
Yeah.
So the motion has it laid out with both parts, so
Yep.
we'll set that time and date.
Yep.
For, May seventh at 10
5 brief
a.m.
and this morning apparently wasn't enough. Okay, so I.
We're ready.
Yeah, we have a motion, a second,
We do?
discussion,
Discussion seemed.
I made-
I'm sorry, I missed that.
You made
Motion, second.
yes.
You
And then
guys
we're
are
in
on
the
it.
the discussion part of it, trying to
Please.
make sure we knew what we
Yeah.
had. So I'll call the motion, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Any opposed, same side. Chair votes aye. So we'll have that public hearing to further discuss the vacating of those properties. Okay?
We got a couple
Sorry.
minutes before 10 AM.
Okay, couple minutes. Ty, were you done with your supervisor?
Well, you know, and
updates?
the only other meeting that I had last week was I had one of my International Economic Development Task Force trainings. Meeting/training, and it was actually on site selection, and there was these two ladies that came on that actually run a big company. Seemed big anyway, but they, that's what they specialize in, excuse me. Is, site selection, so like if the Smithfield, just using them as an example, wanted to build a new plant somewhere. They would probably actually consider calling these people. They already have a list of sites across the country that could potentially be what this person's looking for. They'll know a lot of the statistics and all those types of things. If we had an industrial park, we could probably list it with somebody like this, or we can advertise and do things on our own. Are we looking for something specific?
Just me, sorry.
Okay. Anyway, thought I was interrupting something. But, it was a really good training, and it told me that we've got a long ways to go, but if we don't know we have a long ways to go, we'll never get going, right? So we've got a long ways to go to start to prepare things for outside industry, and whether it's international or not, we've got a ways to go. I mean, you see a lot of the bigger communities that'll have industrial parks and that type of thing. And we've had like the spec building before, and we've got a couple spots that CDC's kind of managing that are out on the east end of town, but we really don't have anything other than, you know, some commercial spots like that. We don't have any big industrial spots, and I shouldn't even say big job creators, because I don't know how big a job creator we need. It'd be nice if there was something that would be, you know, maybe a medium-sized job creator and a large, facilitator to the industries that we already have here, or they'll just, you know, there's a lot of things you can sit down and talk about, mind you. And the best thing to do would be actually with CDC, have a meeting with our job people, or excuse me, our industry leaders in the community, and see what kind of things they think that the community could benefit from. And I mean, there's just a lot of things to do that to kind of create your site.
Ty, do you think it'd be beneficial, you know, Fort Dodge, Webster County, they have that certified industrial park and it's pretty amazing. I'm sure if you, CDC and maybe we could go tour it or.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great to do. I will tell you, to get certified, we gotta have a 4-lane in the county.
Oh,
So,
we're ways off from.
yeah, that was actually something that Steph brought to my attention here, well, not too long ago. And, so, well, I've been trying, you know, but in any event, there's just, you know, those are things that we're gonna need to have.
Right.
And, I mean, it was actually a great little session. I'd love to spend more time talking. I could give you the class, well, probably not as well as the ladies did, mind you, but they were actually from
they're graduates from like South Carolina University and stuff, but one lives in Argentina now running her company, and the other one, she lives in the Netherlands. But,
Really?
yeah, but you know, they're about international people wanting to move to America, so I guess it doesn't matter where they live. They fly anywhere, but in any event, there you
10
go.
o'clock, straight up for a public hearing, so we
Yep.
can continue that.
Yeah,
We need a motion to, for public
We
hearing.
need a motion to.
I'm moving,
open up the
we going to
hearing.
public hearing?
second.
All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now in a public hearing as required to, have a discussion. Were there any oral objections?
No,
Any written?
Anybody?
Nope.
Zoom?
So do we need to have everybody sign in to our public hearing like we traditionally do? Do we have a list, a sheet over there for people to sign in?
we don't.
We don't.
I don't see any noises up or any hands up there.
We'll take note of, yep, we just got a user. Do we know who the user is? We're gonna get the sign in here for our public hearing, get that started.
All right. I don't have anywhere to be until 5 minutes ago.
Oh. Okay. I don't have anything to do till 2 o'clock, so without Kyle here telling me to keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling.
Oh, okay. Guys, give me a note, say keep it rolling, otherwise I think we got all day. All right, we're gonna sign in sheet going here, so we know who was all on the public hearing. Here, use mine.
I'm
Here.
stealing his.
Yes, that's
Okay.
fine. You won't use it. I know, you do have, now that one probably doesn't
I've
work.
got a few extras.
Oh, you got one.
I don't know where I keep accumulating all that. I think it comes out of my briefcase, ends up here.
I have it just disappear. In an effort to make sure we know who's all signed in, we know we got Arbani, we know that one. Gordon, Joe, user, could you identify, just give us a chat, tell us who you are?
Block, speed block.
Beep.
There's only two don't know. Cindy, Cindy, kudos.
Bonnie, we know.
Yeah, Cindy, yeah, we know Cindy and Michelle, Karen, Bonnie. B blocks and user are the only ones that we need to have identified just for this public hearing. You need to know who attended the
Joel
public
Engel's
hearing.
the Holmes guy.
Yep, he's got that on there.
If they don't, I suppose you gotta write them down as what they're.
I guess you just put user, we'll go with that, so that's okay. All right, so public hearing has been opened. Any discussion in the public hearing? What do we want to do?
Chris, are you here for public hearing of the budget?
Well, yeah, but I don't have any comments on this here for that and the insurance deal.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We're gonna get to that here shortly.
Anyone out in Zoom have any objections or anything they'd like to say?
Hearing none.
Oh, we got Cindy.
Oh, Cindy.
I just have a question. Where is the budget published? Is it only in the Denison paper? Or how can someone who doesn't get a subscription to the Denison paper have access to the budget?
It was published in all three county papers, so the Observer and the Manila Times also have it.
So is it any, oh, I'm sorry, what?
I was just gonna ask, can a person come into the auditor's office and pick up a copy of it? Is that an option?
Right, or I don't know if they can get it, we put it, it's from the Department of Management's website. So I don't know if the public is able to, I think there's a public, a way for the public to view that from the Department of Management's website also.
Department of Management. Could you get that? Could I talk to you later, Terry, about where I need to locate that? I don't get the Denison paper, and sometimes when you go to the library, it's not very available. So I don't know that the public really sees the budget.
Okay, well, used to be you had the newspaper that everybody got, and that was the way It's not out on the county website at all. They said it was possible.
I don't know, I'd have to look, I don't remember, to be
Yeah.
honest.
You know,
It should be,
Maybe we
but
should think of ways to make sure that the public has access to it. But the old fashioned way would be to go to the auditor's
Yep.
office and ask for a copy. That
call
would
us and
be-
we can always email it
Oh,
out
yes,
to you.
yep, we could, you
Oh,
could
that would
call,
be, it's a good one.
yeah. You know,
Okay.
looking for those options, that's a good question, Cindy, because, how do you get to see it? That would be how we get that out there to you, so.
Yeah, I really wish the free press could get it, but I understand it has to be a subscription news or
Yeah.
newspaper. So that's too
Yep.
bad. But thank you, appreciate it.
I think they're working on that, Cindy. So do you want, to have Terry just send you one?
That would be
okay?
great.
Okay. All right.
Just
And
while
you-
we're on the subjects that she
Have her
brought up,
email address?
I do have it.
I do too.
the Denison Free Press is putting a petition in to become subscription, so stop by and visit Lorena, the lower level of the CDC building, sign her petition.
Great, I will, thank you.
All right, see, more information you gathered from zooming in today, so.
Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. All right.
Jean?
No, yes.
This is Peggy Staley. I'm B
Oh.
Block.
Oh, nice,
Yes,
thank you.
you are.
All right.
I don't know why. I think they sold me a used phone. I have no idea who B Block is.
Okay,
I'm not trying to hide or anything.
that's all right. We just for our public, so we'll remember that. So once we identify you, we usually do remember, so.
Okay.
Nice to meet you. Thank you, Peggy.
Use
Thank
phone from
you.
the prison.
We don't know where she got that. All
Any
right.
other comments?
Any other
questions?
comments or questions in our public hearing concerning our budget for fiscal year 24-25? Going once, going twice. All right,
Make a motion to come out of public
all
hearing.
right,
Second.
all right. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, chair votes aye. Public hearing is now closed. Next week, we will have on the agenda to discuss and take action to certify the budget. So I'll do that next week. All righty, our next item is discuss, take action, insurance and COBRA rates for HSA contributions. So Joe, you are up. So come on in while we're talking about insurance.
I just got it, they're guests in the hallway up there,
Okay,
so I just thought it's just.
everything's
They
good.
approved
Is
it.
everything good there?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about it.
I earned 30 cents of your check.
He did a great
Oh,
job.
my God. Not a nickel for 30 cents.
I set a public hearing for what, 2 weeks?
May 7th, 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Okay, so you changed the date, I think.
Oh, you had a date on
You
there?
had a date on it.
I was told you didn't have one.
No, I said, I said to verify with Terry that it was okay.
It's over there.
Yeah.
All right, so take.
Because we have to have a certain number, you have to have the 420 rule for publishing.
Yep.
Is it 4?
420.
Which,
420.
420.
I haven't seen
Oh, May 7th falls. What was your date, Paul? Do you
Oh,
remember?
he had Tuesday, May 21st.
Because just the practicality of getting it published.
Right, it can be in next week's paper,
Okay, if you.
unless you want to put it off to that date. They'd have to redo their motion.
I thought you said to ask Terry when it was.
I just wanted to confirm that the date was okay. I'm sorry, I didn't make that clear.
It's okay.
But
well, does May 7th work for you? Is that,
it's a little short notice. You know, I'd like to get, because we have to send certified letters out,
Certified letters to
to the
landowners
to the
surrounding.
surrounding landowners, get those sent out. So, I don't, if you could go to the
Fix that
21st.
after this.
okay, all right, we'll change, we'll fix it to your date. We didn't know you had it. Didn't see that you
That's
had a date.
okay.
Communicate.
It's okay.
All right.
We'll do that after we'll amend that. That's not a problem.
Nothing's been easy this meeting, I guess.
Well, I was gonna be here an hour early and I.
I hear you. All righty, we are in the
Well, you didn't get a
discussion
good
on our
news.
insurance. So
I
Joe,
just went right
welcome to our
upstairs from
meeting.
when you could have talked to me.
Thanks for having me.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
it's not your fault. It's his.
So I guess there was 3 topics that Amy had kind of given us the heads up on to be prepared to speak about or answer questions on. The first one she outlined was HSA contributions.
Uh-huh.
And it was mentioned that maybe one of the supervisors had a comment or a question around treating that like a 401k match, where if an employee puts in up to a certain amount, the county would match that. That is allowed. I will say though, one thing that comes with that is you are subject to non-discrimination testing. So it's not as simple as just doing a flat HSA contribution across the board and treating everybody equally. So non-discrimination testing is probably most popular with 401k and flexible spending accounts, just to ensure that not only the more highly compensated individuals are taking advantage of that. So while it's possible, it's usually cleaner, and what we see most of the time, I won't say all the time, but what we normally see is HSA contribution just being based on them choosing the HSA plan.
Explain that a little
Based-
bit more.
yeah.
What is, based on them
So-
just choose?
So you cannot contribute to an HSA unless you're on a high deductible health plan. The two plans the county has chosen to offer, one is HSA qualified. So you would have to be on that plan to contribute to an HSA or get a contribution to an HSA.
Right.
So the county has a $750 deductible. That is not eligible for an HSA. Either their contribution or a county contribution. The $3,500 deductible would be eligible for an HSA contribution. So employees that chose that plan, they could either contribute their own money, or if the board here decides to do a match or, offer the difference in premium towards that HSA, that would be allowed up to the IRS maximums.
So in your experience, is the usual way that that they would contribute the difference in what they're saving in the plan, does that seem like a fair way to do it with most companies?
Yeah, we see that. We see that more common in the municipality space, just because that way when you hire an employee, let's just say the rates, well, we could use the real numbers, 930.27. So regardless of what plan they choose, it costs the county the same dollar amount per employee. So if they choose the HSA, they just get that to their savings account. If they choose the other plan, that was what's in the budget.
Joe, that's what we kind of talked about last week, is that we wanted, both plans to be comparable so that you're not pushing people to one or the other. You're giving them true apples to apples choice of what they would rather have.
Yep.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. So,
Okay.
if the difference is $132 and that was the county's contribution, that's probably the cleanest way to do it. Rather than saying, okay, if you want the $132, you have to contribute $132 yourself. That's where the non-discrimination can come into play.
but
Okay,
that's the cleanest way to do it, and actually the fairest way. in my opinion.
right.
I would concur.
I guess we can ask their employees. What do you guys think? Does that sound fair HSA, you can see one plan does not have an HSA. It has to be a high deductible plan in order to be an HSA. So if you would choose to have an HSA, we would contribute, $132 a month towards that. And they could contribute, what's the maximum? Then how much can the employee contribute?
I knew you were gonna ask me that. It just
I know.
changed. It's set by the IRS every year.
I had it looked up too, and I didn't bring that with me.
Is it the same as the plus?
No.
It's for 2024, it's $4,150 for a single. It's $8,300 for a family. If you're over the age of 55, there's also an extra $1,000 catch up that individuals can make to their account.
Over
I will note-
55?
Yeah, over 55, there's $1,000 catch up. One thing to note, unlike the 401k that folks might be familiar with, these limits, the 4,150 and the 8,300, they include both employee and employer dollars. So the 401k, if the employer gives you $5,000, that does not count towards your maximum. It does in the HSA. It's total dollars. Does that make sense?
Okay.
I got it, yep.
So if the county's contributing $132 and the employee wants to max it out, they would be subject to, only putting in about
$2,500.
Exactly.
26.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, just under 2,600 unless they're over 55.
I like that. I think that's
I do too.
fair.
I do too.
Okay.
Makes sense. Easily explainable how.
And the HSA follows the employee, right? If the employee would leave.
That's correct.
There
Yeah,
is-
once the dollars, whether they're their dollars or county dollars, hit the bank account, it's an individual owned account. So the employee leaves the next month, the next day, it's their money.
Well, it helps, you know, as, in retirement to have that HSA, because you can use that for your social security, Medicare, premiums and, deductibles in retirement. So it's a nice plan to have.
I
Yeah.
also feel
Oh,
like,
I think. Go ahead, sorry.
I think it could be also a good recruitment tool for new employees of having that option.
Absolutely.
The department hasn't.
Right.
I have to say, the $7,000 deductible is a scary number to look at, so that just might.
That's if you use, like if you're currently have health issues or one of your employees, I mean, then it could be,
It won't take
They
long to
will
get
spend
there.
that $7,000.
It won't take long to get there.
100% of it, so that might, they're gonna have to figure out if
Yeah.
that's worth it for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
and that's why we
the
want to have
option.
options, because if you're in the point in your life where you're healthier, that might be a more
Yeah, you
feasible
might
way
not
to
need to
go.
worry about it, 'cause
Exactly.
you might not spend it,
So
but,
we just thought an option would actually offer you a recruiting
Yeah.
tool.
Right.
so I think it's just gonna depend for each individual.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And that's why
absolutely.
this is, options are always good. And so if it doesn't fit your specific need, then you stay with the conventional
Right.
plan. But if you always felt like, man, I'm paying $900 a month and I just don't even use any of it, then you have the option of having your account over there where you can save it for that rainy day.
Well, last week, one of the comments that was made was, are benefits important to our employees, like our health insurance, is it important? So I had two of mine come in to basically say, yes.
Yes.
This is important. I mean, health insurance is a very important benefit to us.
Well, we absolutely know that. I mean, there are people that's the thing that keeps them at the job is because it's such a good plan, or they are looking for another job because that another office has a better plan. And so we're trying to work that in as part of a benefit for why people stay working for the county. Absolutely. I get that.
And
Go ahead, Joe.
I think the employees may have received a memo by now, but the other thing to note is we are doing employee education. So that way we can talk to the employees about the two plans and we'll stay around afterwards and meet with people one-on-one. If they want to talk about their individual situation, see what plan might be best for them. So it just kind of goes back to that employee choice. So I think it's going to be a great fit for the county. And I definitely agree. It's a great recruiting tool and retention tool.
I agree.
Yes, for sure.
R&R.
Question, Joe, does the board have a choice of how they distribute their portion of the contribution? They could do it monthly or bi-annually or annually or whatever?
Good question.
That's correct. Yes. Most groups do it monthly. We do have some instances when to the comment of the person in the crowd, that $7,000 deductible is pretty high. They only get $1,000 or $132 in July. Some companies do front load it a little bit more. I don't necessarily, if I know what I recommend that for a municipality or government agency. But we do see some people in the private sector maybe do like $500 up front because people might have prescriptions that first day they join the HSA and not really have any money in their account. But the most common way to do it is just that $132 over 24 pay periods or over 12 pay periods or whatever, however you guys pay.
And so, Joe, if they currently have the flexible spending, obviously they can't contribute to both. And if they're
Right.
part of that Plan 16, they would be part of the HSA. So that still allows them to spend out of their flex, correct? Even though they're contributing to an HSA?
No, that's not correct. You cannot contribute to the HSA until your flex is exhausted.
Is that health and dependent flex, or is
Yeah.
dependent flex separate?
Dependent flex is separate for daycare. That is separate. And actually, if an employee wants to go to the HSA, they will still have an option for dependent flex under what's called a limited flexible spending account as of 7/1. So we'll offer two types of FSA plans on July 1st. One being the traditional FSA everybody's used to today, for those people that are on the copay plan or on the $750 plan. And we'll also offer a limited flex. So those individuals on an HSA could put aside money for just dental and vision expenses along with dependent care. So those people really have the best of both worlds. If people are trying to use their HSA to save for retirement, or maybe not retirement, but medical expenses, things like that, and they have kids in braces, they could still take advantage of the limited purpose flex and not spend their HSA dollars if they so choose, because that is their money they're putting in.
Okay, so like spending on medical is always allowed X amount carryover from year to year.
Yeah.
So
how does that affect our current flex people, the carryover?
Yeah, so they'll need to exhaust their carryover before they put money in their HSA. They can still sign up for the high deductible health plan, but they can't technically contribute a contribution until that flex plan is exhausted. So we'd encourage people to try to spend their flex, prior to 6:30 if at all possible.
And you can't transfer your flex into your HSA, correct?
You cannot.
We never talked about that.
I would almost recommend,
How many-
Amy, that you do a one-on-one with your specific.
well, mine's exhaused, but I
Okay,
just,
okay, all right, right.
I mean, it's one of those concerns.
Sure,
I use mine for braces,
okay,
done, but you always have till, September 30th to pull out
Right.
expenses that were incurred up to June 30th.
okay.
You had till September 30th to finish paying that out. But, when you were allowed to carry over $500 or $1,000, whatever it was this year, some people possibly set that aside
Sure.
because of things like, well, we're still working on braces, we're allowed to carry this over, we can keep making our monthly payments. We can keep our flex amount being pulled out of our check stable over the 2 or 3 or 4 years that they're allowing us to pay on those braces. The health saving could really hurt a few people. I don't know where anybody's at, I'm just.
Right.
Do we
I know
know
where
how
I
many
was given
employees?
options.
And I think that
I don't.
those are things that individual, because we do have the 2 plans available, that might not be a perfect fit for them. So we're not forcing anybody to take any of what doesn't work in their specific need.
Right.
Because everybody's in a different place in their lives with kids that still need braces. Or if you don't have any kids at home anymore and all you have is maybe a doctor's appointment once in a while for a checkup, so that's why you need to really know both plans and what works best
Right.
for you and your family and make those decisions.
And you'll learn more
Right.
about that
Right.
at the training.
At the
meetings.
training. So this is an informational, we're trying to do our best to work through the weeds a little bit to figure out what's gonna work best, especially, the ones that are gonna maybe be going to this new HSA, how the county's gonna make that, transition to help so you don't end up with 0 in there and how you're gonna build that fund. So lots to think about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
Say, Joe, when you analyze, Crawford County and our current insurance plan, did you know, how many of the employees had a, FSA?
We did not know that information.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I guess not. That is, I don't know who you guys even use for that, for the FSA currently.
Task.
Task? Okay.
Yes.
I believe, sir, when you guys hired Home Company, we took over the medical plan, your vision, maybe not vision, the life and disability and dental. I do not believe we took over the task account, which is no big deal, but so we weren't privy to the information.
I see, gotcha, okay.
But I do know that Amy and team, someone could request a list of current balances on the FSA and be proactive and let those employees know, here's where your balance is today, if you can submit some receipts or things like that.
Yeah, I'll do some and I'll dig into that.
can you prepay a dentist?
I don't think so.
Just asking.
You know one.
I do, hey Doug. Just gonna need braces in 2
Okay.
years. Yeah.
Let's keep moving.
Let's keep moving. All right, so, What other questions do we have while we have Joe on the phone, or, thoughts that we have as the board for which,
What were those other items, Joe?
Insurance and Cobra rates?
Cobra rate.
Yeah, so
Oh,
Go ahead, Joe.
how do you guys want to set your COBRA rates? Currently, we were told that you guys charge 2% over the employee and the employer contribution. So you're basically charging 2% on top of the full rate. Our recommendation would be to continue that. You don't probably want to charge someone that's going on COBRA, not the claims portion. So we'd recommend charging 2% on those total rates that we showed in the presentation. So the
just the
9, 30,
insurance
20.
fee
Yeah, so
Or-
in
or the total monthly premium?
the total monthly premium is what most people charge the 2% of COBRA on too.
I would, I think going with their recommendation is probably the normal way to do it.
That's how we're doing it now.
They're in the business, we're not changing anything there, so let's keep that the same possibly. All right, and then, HSA contribution is the other thing that we need to have a motion on what we're agreeing on.
One more thing.
And the 132,
Employees'
right,
contribution to
employees
insurance.
contribution, yes, we go into that, what we're saving. No, the difference between the premiums,
That's HSA,
yes.
that's HSA contribution,
Yes, that's.
We need to set that rate today.
Yes,
yeah, and the employees' contribution to insurance.
now currently they're paying the 17%.
Currently under resolution at 17%.
Right,
We have that.
but we handed out some spreadsheets last week.
We did.
Did anybody keep them or bring them?
There was
or-
only one, and I got to get a copy of it. Oh. I do have that one. I was thinking to talk about the other one.
I know we met with Joe and, some of the Holmes Murphy team. And I think when Amy and I also talked with you all about the employees portion and trying to keep it, minimal.
Yes.
Minimal increase to the employee. And that, would be, I can't remember how we figured it. Anyway, on this spreadsheet that Amy and I put together, it shows, the employee in that traditional plan, which is Plan 14. Their contribution, the employee contribution for a single plan would be 122.70. A family contribution would be 306.74. Both of those, with a very small increase. The single increase would be $3.36. The family increase would be $28.28. And that's, again, we're calling it a traditional plan. It's similar to what we have currently, except for some differences in the deductible and the max out of pocket. And how, prescription is handled. It doesn't have its own deductible or max out of pocket. It is integrated into the medical deductible and max out of pocket. That's the difference. And the other plan being the, Plan 16 with Wellmark, the high deductible plan. The single employee, contribution would be $111.79, which is actually a decrease from what they're currently paying, for our premium. And the family contribution for our employees would be $279.47, which is $1.01 increase to what their current premium is. So that was one of the things I know Amy and I presented
Yes.
to you all. So that
When
is,
you compare the high deductible, do we have currently a high deductible offer to the employees?
no, we don't we just have the one,
The
one
moving
plan.
forward, the one moving
the one,
forward.
it's similar to Alliance Select with Wellmark is what it is, yeah. Yep,
I'm glad you brought that to our attention,
Yes.
Harry, because I do feel like it would be very unfair to our employees to change that percentage and jack up their monthly cost.
Yeah.
Right,
Trying to keep things more even keel and transition smoothly. I think we need to be relatively close, like what Terry pointed out in the plans going forward.
I mean, would that mean we would be changing the percentage, right? Currently,
So-
they're paying 17, we're paying 83.
right. And so Amy and I figured the 17% on, I don't know if you do.
Right.
So if you're on page
I
21
do.
of
I
the
have it.
manual that, Holmes and Murphy presented, used for
Yep.
presentation, it shows, in that column, so if you're in the first gold column, the single policy, it shows on that first line an insurance premium. We took the 17% of that number and not all the other fees that are incurred.
Got it.
The county will incur all those fees.
So that would be the
On their
only change
portion.
then, Craig, would be that we're only getting 7% of the premium and not.
Yeah, and we could put that resolution on your agenda next week to update it and make it more specific to this situation.
Yep.
I brought the resolution.
So that way-
Used to include the total. insurance.
17% of.
Yeah, well, and the board used to not really get into the weeds on that.
I see.
They would set a premium, and rarely would we ever use the suggested rate from Wellmark. The board would always set their own premium, and then it would be of that rate, of that
Not of
premium,
the one that
not
was-
of the suggested rate
Apples
from
to apples
Wellmark.
of what?
So,
Sure.
the county has kind of been underfunding our self-fund, our self-insurance fund for
That's
a
another-
number of years, but the way the market was in insurance, or not insurance, but claims, the cost of those claims, you know, everything literally cost-wise is going up
So we're
right
gonna
now.
have to address that issue also and get more money.
Okay,
to put it
that sounds
into
fair.
Our,
Yeah, and that's something we can do at a later date. We'll just have to monitor, our self-fund
Okay.
and the county, again, on that page, that same page 21, you'll see that claims funding line, and that goes into an account with EBS, who is our third party with Holmes Murphy. Speak up, Joe, if I'm saying something stupid, please.
Terry, I think you learned a lot, our conversation, you're
I
doing
did.
perfect.
I did. Oh, funny.
That is,
Anyway, so that's kind of where Amy and I kind of threw numbers around, because frankly, we were scared to death about a week and a half
I
ago.
remember that.
And, but I feel a lot better about things,
Good.
anyway.
So going forward, I mean, today we could approve the HSA contributions amounts and the COBRA rates. And then if you got a resolution on our agenda for next week, we could approve.
Right.
the
I mean, you could
17%.
include, you could probably approve these rates. I think that resolution will clarify where the
Where
17%
It's
Comes
charged.
from.
calculates from.
Okay.
So I feel like if you wanted to, you could answer this, action item in its entirety.
Okay,
Okay.
And then we will fix that resolution to specify, where that math is coming from, where the calculation came from for that.
Okay, let me clarify one thing on COBRA rates. COBRA rates will be off of the base, off of this plus 2%, right?
Yeah, the
On the
total
bottom
monthly
line.
premium.
The total monthly
And
premium.
Yes,
that is,
I know that was
So the
one
opposite-
question Amy had
the
too.
opposite
She
of
wasn't
what-
sure.
Okay.
The opposite of what.
All
we're doing
right,
with-
tracking you.
all right.
Right.
So,
It will be, you're right. It'll be the opposite
wanted to
of what we're
clarify
gonna
that.
do for the employee rates.
Those were the three things that covered
right.
all
Yeah.
this, correct, Joe?
Those
Yeah,
were the
yeah.
things that we,
Yep.
questions that
And
we
not
had
the-
last week. Go ahead.
You don't want to discourage, I mean, people that need Cobra, but people that usually let Cobra because it's so expensive, they're the ones using the plan. So you don't want to take out the claims funding portion from a Cobra rate, because if someone let Cobra, they're probably a high utilizer. Otherwise, they would go on a new plan. So-
Right, because that way they're contributing to our account,
Yeah.
which is
Yep.
gonna help pay these claims.
Got
Yeah.
And then just another thing, like, we did spend a good amount of time with Terry and Amy, and that's exactly what we're here for. But just know, going forward on a monthly basis, you guys will see the claims account balance, what we paid into premiums, what we paid out in claims. So
Yeah, that's.
And that
That'll be
savings,
good.
that savings account Terry talked about, that'll also show how your balance is hopefully growing. Because we are funding pretty heavily.
Right.
I think that this year with the changes, and with everything that's going on, this is gonna be kind of a year where we see how it all works, and with getting a monthly input on how things are going, well, this job next year will be so much easier.
Right, and you'll be able to make these decisions
Right.
even sooner next
Right.
year, so then, as far as budgeting, we can incorporate the correct numbers into budgeting.
Oh, no.
And, you'll know where both of those funds are, where our current fund that we hold here at the county, and then our third party, balance. You'll also, you'll have all those numbers and be able to make some good, decisions for next year's budgeting.
Holmes Murphy, know our premiums even sooner.
Yes, I believe so. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah.
You'll know the
Yeah.
premiums even.
We'll know
next
the
year?
premiums in January.
Yeah.
So that top line item, that's the other big selling point. That 721 number, a couple of you guys have referenced 721.74.
Yeah.
That'll be we'll know that increase, the percent increase on that in January.
That will help us.
That will help us a
And that,
lot.
and that's the majority of the total premium, right? The other fees are not gonna increase hardly at all, or if at all.
This is great.
Yep, we've had a lot of discussion and a lot of thought, Amy and Terry have done a fabulous job of getting all this information together with your help and bringing it to
Yeah.
us. And I think this change is always hard, but I think our absolute goal is to make it the best plan for our employees, for retention and for hiring. And I think having those options, not every single person fits into one plan, and to have an option, change is hard. And, you guys know your plan so well, and I'm not on the insurance, so I have to write it all down, what you guys currently have. But I think this is gonna be a great fit, and this is kind of our trying year. I think as long as the employees don't see it, when we saw the chart of how that's gonna affect what the actual net raise was, I think it's important that this year we kind of just get this thing through and then figure out some more things next year when we are a little bit more into it, so.
Can I say one more?
Yes,
I'll
absolutely.
make one comment. We work with a lot of cities and counties, municipalities, school districts, things like that. And just for the employees sitting in the room and people listening in, this board has been more involved than probably any board I've ever seen. And they truly want to do what's right by the citizens of the county and the employees of the county. And I think this change is good. Adding options for the employees is good. And they really did spend a lot of time with it. So I think that's worth noting. So nice job, you guys.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for all your help and patience, because there's been a lot of questions, I know, but we just want to make sure we're doing the right thing.
Yep.
So I think we're ready for a motion.
Great, yeah, I gotta word that motion.
Should we do them 3 separate?
I think we can do them all together.
Yeah.
So
Take your
that
time. take your
employee
time.
contribution.
Right, I mean, it can be, I move that we have,
Most of it's
October
on.
rates set at 2%
Okay.
above
That
the
one's easy.
total monthly premiums.
Correct? One,
HSA contribution, at $132 a month.
would be the difference.
Which represents the difference
And
from the county.
the employee contribution would
Difference
be,
between, do we need that worded in there? Difference between what?
Difference between the HD,
Just the high
HP
deductible plan.
and the
Hold on.
traditional
We
plan.
have a question. Is that a month or paycheck? Thank you.
Yeah.
She said the 132, so that's 1,584. And before, I thought you were talking about times 24 times 2 pay periods. So did we miss something?
Well, that's why we're trying to clarify it. Thank you. You guys that live in every,
Following me
it's,
now.
yeah. Thank you for helping us make sure that our motion isn't, does that make sense? Do you want that $132 out of how many paychecks? Because what was the
Well, I guess I just said per month. If you get three pay periods in a month, it'd be divided by 3, 2 pay periods in a month, it'd be divided by 2.
That's up to you, cause you could do it so it hits one of those pay periods a month, like the first one. Or, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
I see. So,
I believe you can do that.
so we would just do 132 a month not every pay period,
monthly.
right?
Yeah,
That's what you're saying?
yeah. I mean, that's
Sherry,
up to
is that
you,
what
I'm
you
just
were
saying.
asking?
That was the question we have, were you gonna?
You were gonna
each
do it.
paycheck, We're gonna divide it and do it each paycheck or one lump sum per month?
Cause, I mean, that would be
Okay.
beneficial to the employee if we did it once a month,
Yes.
so it accumulates faster.
Right.
Right.
But
You
it's
like
also a
the once a month
budgeting
idea
issue with
better?
your paycheck.
Just one
Right.
check a month, get
It's
it.
gonna come out,
It is.
not really?
No, I think Amy can set it up in our payroll to do it that way. I'm
Okay,
almost
all right,
positive.
all right. Just I think that when we do these, we have to make sure that
I'll make sure
everybody
she looks at this video again. and
understands that there's no, that's not what I thought it was gonna look like,
Right.
because this is new for all of us.
Once a month.
I like the once a
Yeah.
month,
That's three elected officials.
right, first pay period of every month. We contribute.
Right, I agree with you, Craig.
Work, all right,
And then the employee contribution would be 17% based off the insurance premium.
There we go.
Right.
would you like to
Second.
read that back? So we make sure that you should have her read it back.
Employee contribution set at 17% of the insurance premium, not the total monthly premium.
Yes.
Okay,
Insurance premium, not total monthly.
all right.
And I will probably update this spreadsheet. So all the numbers that you've referenced in here are noted on one single spreadsheet.
That'd be nice.
That would
And
be
it will,
nice,
yeah.
because I've
Not
had to
total.
flip around quite a bit here okay. All right, so we have our motion. Probably one of our longest motions for a long time.
A second.
And a second. Any further discussion on this motion?
I'm not around.
If not, I'll call the vote. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Chair votes aye. We have an insurance plan.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you. I hope everybody's happy. I hope these changes turn out to be beneficial to all of our employees. I hope they find it, even though it's been a little bit of a struggle, something that just really works for everybody. So thank you for all your work. And Terry, you guys have gone.
Yeah, Terry, Amy, thank you.
He's not here, but he takes it on. Joe, I know there's been more questions than normal, but that's the way we're sure we know what we get. So thank you.
If there's
That's
something.
all good.
Just send it off to me. Amy's out of the office for a while. So send it over and we can get whatever you need signed.
All right, will do. Thanks, Terry.
All right.
Thank you.
Always good discussion. Okay, I can
Is
put
that
my
in
big
there,
book
the
away.
Continental Carbon?
Thank you for your input,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
We don't profess to know all about insurance.
COVID could have options.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I think so. All righty.
Carbonics.
We are moving right along.
That's in our board.
Continental Carbonics.
So this is just, and it's between Iowa Economic Development Authority. It's kind of my understanding that, this was done way back in,
Eric was the chair.
Eric was the chair. And it's just some, housekeeping to terminate this agreement because we no longer need it. Is that correct, Terry?
Yeah, that is. It is. Yep, they got some tax credits when
Yep.
they started or something and
Need to be facilitated.
we have the contract in the file if anybody wants to
Needed to
see
be
it at some
facilitated through the
point, but
county since they were gonna.
they've
give
asked
credit.
us
Yep.
to terminate
Continental
that.
has asked us to
Yep.
do it.
Economic development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Like I said, it's just simple housekeeping, so I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? I'll call the motion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We'll get this signed, get this terminated. Discussion, take action on mowing rate for County Pork Barn Cemetery, Section 31, Denison Township.
Yep, currently Emily Frazier does the mowing to the county farm.
Okay.
And I spoke with them. I know her dad is sister because they have a trailer that they haul over there and anyway, currently the rate has been in place for, I can't remember, I made some notes, it's been at least since probably 2014 or 20, yeah, it's been a long time.
Okay.
$75 a mowing, and typically they mow it like once a month. Especially in preparation for Memorial Day and ahead of like the 4th of July and things like that. When people are back and maybe would go to those areas.
Mhm.
So they do a really good job of keeping it mowed, and I'm just asking, I don't know that they really asked, but I just feel like it's a rate that maybe needs, looking at because of costs and,
Yep,
you
fuel.
know,
Is that,
fuel
what
is
is the rate right now?
$75 a mowing.
Do we, do they do other cemetery mowings?
No, they just do that one for
that
us.
one.
Terry, do you have a number in your head that?
100?
100,
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
When you guys all start thinking of like.
I don't know how much they do, I mean.
I don't know how long
It's
they take.
usually once a
Set the
month.
bar.
It starts maybe in like May, June, July, August, September. So like 5 months, maybe 6 times, you know what I mean? 5 or 6 times. It kind of depends on the rainy season and if we have any or not
Well,
and
you
things
got-
like that,
You got
so.
the fuel to
10
get
years
there,
ago
you
is
gotta
when
have
that
the
price was
equipment,
set.
you
Same
gotta.
Well,
Right.
they haven't
and
changed
the
the rate in
labor.
10 years.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Is that your motion?
Probably.
You know that they're calling.
And you all know the
Motion to
cemetery
make it
that this is,
$100.
right?
Well,
Second.
Go ahead.
There you go.
all right, any further discussion on raising the rate?
You said 100, right?
100.
Thank you.
I'll call the vote, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign, chair votes aye.
Just another question would just be is, do we have other contract mowers on cemeteries in the county or?
Townships pay for those? Yep, so when they levy those taxes, that money that they levy, if they have a cemetery in their township,
Okay,
yeah,
flows through the township
yep,
tax levy,
yep,
pay those people.
yep,
And here there isn't because it's owned by the county.
yeah. It's the county, and you all know where that's at, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I know a number of years ago, when in my first couple years of being auditor, we had it witched. To find where there were potentially, people buried, cause there
didn't
weren't
have
many
stones.
stones.
Elmer did that?
Yeah, Ulmer did that, and, we put some, like a stepping stone, a very flat stone, and put those in place.
I mean,
Cause
there's,
we didn't have the names, obviously, of everybody, but,
So you
there
can,
is a mailbox out there. And, inside the mailbox is a notebook and people have written their names and addresses and when they stopped and, that sort of thing.
yeah,
If I remember right, Steve said he even it would go a different direction for male and female.
yeah,
really,
yeah. Yeah,
It
seems
was
odd.
interesting.
it's very
Very
interesting.
interesting.
Steve Ulmer?
Steve
I had
Ulmer,
no
so if you ever
idea.
need
we
something
could do
witched,
that.
he's your guy.
Okay, all righty,
Okay.
all right, we're into the citizen input, keep it rolling, I got it. Citizen input, anybody on Zoom that would like to add something in our citizens input?
That's odd.
Raise a hand if you have anything you'd like to add to our citizens input. Otherwise, we'll go, out in the audience. Anybody have anything for citizen input? This is your time to speak.
No?
There we go, we got a hand.
About that 911 call I talked to you guys about a couple weeks ago.
Yep,
I checked around and called, who was it, the guy that charged the 911, he just knew now, he couldn't help me. But, I called 911 up here about John Blum shooting cat. Nobody can help me unless you wanna pay somebody to go through the 911 calls. And get a lawyer and, what do I call it? Get the information. Well, anyway,
Open record.
yeah, it's just about, getting the sheriff, I even talked to the sheriff, he's
Okay.
gonna help me, but he never got back from now.
okay.
But you said come, get Rasmussen, Deputy Sheriff Rasmussen and the sheriff up here and talk about it? Why they didn't arrest John Blum for?
It's not in our wheelhouse, you know, that, you go talk to them, you know, and
We set the budget, Lonnie. I mean, that's, you gotta go talk to them and go through the process that you already have. I mean, I don't know what else we can really,
county attorney.
you could talk to the county attorney.
I mean, I'm not saying that, but you could, place, you know, go talk to the county attorney. I'm not sure what he can do.
I don't know, but appreciate you guys could call him up here, and somebody said last time I was here.
Oh, I don't.
Talk to them
remember.
about it.
I don't think in a public meeting, we wanna be talking about arrest records or, arrest situations, that sort of thing. Doesn't seem like it's appropriate in a public meeting to do that. If things are just inferred or accused, that sort of stuff, I don't think we wanna do that in a public meeting.
Well, the thing is, you pay taxes on 911 calls on your phone, surcharge. You don't get nothing done, just like taxation without representation. Then,
The surcharge goes towards the 911 services that everyone receives, like ambulance, EMT, firemen,
I
police.
haven't received no 911 officer down to investigate my complaint, but Rasmussen took him days to get down there. But I had an incident with his boy, they were down there within hours charging me.
Yeah, but police response wouldn't have anything to do with 911. That's under the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
I mean, even our 911 operations center operates under the city police chief. So I mean, that's a whole different wheelhouse, you know, I mean, as far as the 911 getting their records and stuff, I mean, even Terry's office, if you have to get records, or any of the others,
Police finding expense report.
a fee for the time they have to. The county's cost of operations, that's probably what that's about, that's my guess, I'm speaking to attorney.
Miscommunication between them.
I don't know, I mean, because I don't know the whole situation, I mean, you called them, and I would assume that they would have called and deployed, or at least.
You got before, like,
Officer and do.
within hours.
Yeah, and without knowing the situation, I mean, it's hard to speak towards it, I don't know why.
I called 911 4 or 5 times, and I called over to City Hall in Manila 4 or 5 times, and it took 15 days to get out there. You still won't charge John. Animal, he used to shoot Sam and shoot a gun and city limits and.
Yeah, that's,
Well, long story short, Lonnie, we've been down this road with you. This is not our wheelhouse. So we can't, you know,
there's nothing we can really.
As
do.
elected officials, as supervisors,
Can you fund those?
we're not doing that. So
10 cop cars out there, sheriffs and police cars, probably 10 of each out there.
we need to wrap this up.
I think we've exhausted all the possibilities.
I was sending information like that, you guys didn't call them from here.
I don't recall that.
See, there's sometimes there's a misunderstanding, we might be titled supervisors, but I don't mean you supervise
We're
everyone.
not discussing anything we
I
haven't
mean,
already discussed.
the sheriff is on, we're all on kind of an equal tier. You know, we all work together to look after the citizens, but we all got our own, the attorney likes to call it our own silo of operation, you know, I mean, and that's all in the sheriff's department, or, like I said, because 911 center actually operates under the jurisdiction of the chief of police of Denison. You know, I mean, they split that up on who's responsible for what costs and what operations years ago, but I mean, as far as you getting records out of there, I mean.
There is a way to get the records,
Yeah.
and they, you know, laid out the way to get that, and so that might be the only way to go, which is the fair way, and the way everybody does it. There's a reason for that, so you could do a Freedom of Information Act request to ask for those records. And it's my understanding it's not a difficult thing to do, and then that issue would be over, how to get those records.
So they got you to have them look it up and.
That I'm not aware of,
That's
yeah, that's.
in your wheelhouse,
Yeah.
and that's where you have to do this.
It's not a rule or law that we have any control over, any charge over. It's been that way for.
If they make you do it, that would be the same rule for everyone. Well, that's the only.
I would offer to go through it all, but they wouldn't do it.
Well, I'm sure they won't let you do that.
No, that I know it's not an option, yeah, so,
I would take it over to the record.
Is there any other?
all right. Any other,
You have that Continental Carbonic.
I think I passed it. I think I-
Here, I'm babysitting everything.
Okay, I got it. Did you sign the front of it?
So we
I'll
need a
check.
motion for adjournment.
And,
So, will we adjourn?
wait. Is that?
It's like, it's right there where that, yeah, she needs a sign there.
See you, Dave.
See you later.
We did.
To the field.
Adjourn. I didn't vote. Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. So, do you want me to buy these?
We're still adjourning.
Or do you wanna start selling out?
No, I don't care.
I don't care about
I don't want to mess with them
Thank
right
you.
now.
Okay,
So,
I will.
raffle tickets for Statements for Jet if anybody wants any.
Don't buy
I just love
anything,
these
any from
political
anybody.
messages.
Leave these right here.
They're so drama filled.
Are you
Yeah.
I do, I will get
Farewell
some.
message, I could be thrown in
Well,
jail, it might be my